Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about procrastination and what the cause of that may be for you and what you can do about it. So I'm going to first get started with the definition of procrastination. That is to put off intentionally the doing of something that should be done, right? So if you think about that, what are the things that you've been procrastinating on lately? And when you really dig in, what is the cause of that procrastination? Is it just because you're dreading doing something or you'd rather do other things? Well, I'd like to offer that it could be lack of clarity. Now, remember, I'm always talking about the learning curve, right? The learning curve is pretty high when you're running an online business, especially if you're doing all the things yourself. You have the tech issues, you have to learn how to be a marketer on top of whatever it is that you're doing. If you're a coach, you probably have your zone of genius that you can coach people on, but you have to learn how to be a marketer. You have to learn how to be a networker. You have to learn a lot of different skills that you maybe didn't have or didn't know much about. And when we start procrastinating, I'd like you to really think about, is it really that I lack clarity and direction, that I have a learning curve? Is it something like that that's causing me to procrastinate? Or is there some other issue that's going on? Because really procrastination isn't, it's like a symptom. It's not the actual problem. And so let's talk about that. So like if you're just grasping in the dark and you're not even sure if you're doing the right thing, you don't know what the right thing is to do, and you're not sure you're doing the right things, you may start procrastinating, putting that thing off. I like to think of like writing a sales page. I'm not that great of a copywriter, at least not in my opinion. And so I tend to avoid writing sales pages. I don't like doing it. And so what I do to mitigate that, and what you can do, is then I put it on my backlog that is a thing that I have to learn and master. That thing that I'm procrastinating about is a thing that I need to learn and master. And the reason why I say that is because that is what's really causing the anxiety, is that I don't feel like I'm very good at it. And so I avoid it, right? I procrastinate, I put it off, I do other things, I do all that. So if you're doing that with something, sales pages for me, but it might be something else for you, think about that. Are you just not sure you're doing the right thing? Do you need guidance on what that right thing is to do? Or are you getting shiny object syndrome? Are you down a rabbit hole? Are you buying, courses that maybe you don't even need? You're off on some tangent. You completely avoid the thing that you needed to do, but now you're on to something else, and you just keep bouncing from one thing to another. If you're doing that, the reason may be that you're not focusing your attention on one particular thing so that you can get clarity and you can gain direction on how you want to do that. I often tell my clients that, one of the reasons why you want to create systems in your business is because there are certain decisions that you need to make for your business that need to be made so you can move on. Like if that decision is always up in the air, it makes it really difficult for you. And if you have a team, to get the work done, because you always have that thing lingering that there needs to be a decision, right? And sometimes lack of clarity or lack of direction is the reason why you're not making that decision. And so oftentimes we procrastinate when we're not making that decision. So think about whether or not the procrastination that you're doing is because you're putting off a decision that needs to be made, like a certain marketing strategy, for example, or a certain piece of software you're going to use. Like, are you going to go with, WordPress, or a funnel builder like ClickFunnels or GrooveFunnels? Are you going to use MailChimp or ActiveCampaign? If those are the kinds of decisions that you need to make and you're not making them, you could be causing a lot of this problem yourself. And so by making those decisions and sticking by that decision, And I'm not saying, stick by it if the, ship is sinking and you need to change, you make that change, right? Just like we do in IT. Sometimes we might have a project that we've spent a whole bunch of money on, right? And we're getting partially through it and we realize, oh my gosh, this is not going to work. And we might come to a point where we determine that it's not worth it to continue. It's not worth spending that extra money and time to continue and finalize that project, that the ship is sinking. So it's time to abandon ship. So there are times when you need to do that, but most of the time we just need to follow through. If you purchased a course on, let's say, a marketing strategy, try seeing it through to the entire, through the entire course, through the entire implementation of it, and see what happens. Because oftentimes we don't finish courses because we start and we get something that's hard, we start procrastinating, and then we never get back to it, right? Where instead, if we start from zeroing in and focus our time and energy on getting past that blocker that's causing us to procrastinate, learning curve, lack of clarity, lack of direction, lack of a decision, then we can focus in, make that decision, do that thing, and then start honing that skill so we get better at that skill, so we avoid procrastination in the future on that particular thing. So the other challenge I'd like to say is, think about the things that you're procrastinating on. Are they always the same thing? If you're procrastinating on the same thing all the time, like I was doing for sales pages, well, then it's time to start focusing in your attention on learning that thing. And for me, it's, copywriting and design and, of a sales page. And, there's all kinds of little pieces in there that need to be addressed, right? If I want to really master that topic. Or I could hire it out if I wanted to hire it out to a professional who could help me do that thing. So either way, think about what you're doing and try to get down to the root of it, because remember, procrastination is just a symptom and it's not something that you can't overcome, right? It's just like any other blocker or obstacle that you may have. You're having some sort of an obstacle, which is why you're procrastinating. And so it's important for you to get to the root of that, And I think that the number one cause of procrastination is lack of clarity, direction, a learning curve, something like that, where we're just not quite sure if we're doing the right thing or if we're doing the things right. Okay, I hope that helps you. Be sure to download my Black Friday emergency promo kit, because if you've been procrastinating on that, that could help you get started on that and get going and drive that spike, get that thing out there so that you'll be better at it next year. You'll have, a baseline so you can look at your data, you can learn from what you did, you can and create yourself a little system for doing those types of campaigns. It's only going to be free for a short time, so grab it while it's free. It is at thescrumshop.com/BFE kit. All right, I will see you in the comments, and I'll put that link in the comments as well. Okay, thanks. Bye.